Alright gang, welcome back to our Vanilla Survival Challenge here on Maypole Farm. I almost said Farmlands. I got my things all mixed up. Maypole Farms is where we're at. How's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing well. Now I haven't watched the second, well, I say I haven't. The second episode of this series has not been released yet to the general subscriber. So I don't know what you've said about the second episode, but I do know about the first one. The first one has been released, so I do have some input there. For the most part, everyone seems to be enjoying it. I did see one comment saying that they were a little confused on how to keep up with this one, so certainly that's not what my goal is. So let me try to explain it one more time, and hopefully it makes a little bit more sense, maybe, if I announce it a second time. So really the goal here is us to, build a successful farm utilizing only vanilla equipment with a twist. That twist is, simply put, we're allowed to utilize anything base game that's vanilla. We're allowed to utilize anything that is DLC from Giants directly, only DLC. And we're allowed to utilize anything that comes with this map only. Everything else we are not allowed to use, so I can't go out to Mod Hub and just download any mod I want. It's not physically possible. I have to utilize either simply something from the map, which there's not much, it's just a couple of barns and things like that, a couple of buildings, or I have to utilize something that is from the base game, the vanilla game, if you will, or I can utilize something that was from a DLC that has come out from Giants. That's it, nothing else. So that's why I'm saying it's going to be difficult, because for the most part, there's a couple of things, but for the most part, things that you can actually, utilize that are vanilla or DLC are relatively expensive. There's not really a whole lot of inexpensive items, is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, that's it, man. It's as simple as that. That is the goal. It's as simple as that. And really, we're going to try to do is kind of take over the land that we have here, which is entirely trees, and turn that into some form of a farm, an arable farm of some sort, I'm sure. But we want to try to continue our progress here, right? We want to buy more land. Realistically, this is what we're going to be building here on this side. Is probably more of a temporary yard, or at least just maybe a mini yard. It eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to expand a little bit more, and at that point, hopefully, we can have a bigger yard, maybe somewhere else, or maybe it's here. Who knows? We'll figure that out as we move along. But that's the goal, right? That's the goal, is figuring out a way to survive and build a successful farm utilizing only vanilla equipment with a twist. That's why I'm calling it a twist, is the rule of allowing DLC from Giants and anything that is required to be installed for this map. But that's it. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. So this is going to be probably a bit dicey here, what we're going to try to do. And so I'm going to try to keep it simple right off the bat here if I can. I think this might cause a bit of an issue here too with these other trees here. But we're going to try to keep this as simple as we can, because we have to go across the road here. Now, the big thing for this, I think, in my opinion, is that I'm not sure what's going to happen with these trees. They might be too large, and what I mean by that is they might be too long. So, in other words, when I try to sell these, it may not give me the full price because they're too big. And if that's the case, which is what I fully believe is going to be the case, we probably are going to have to consider chopping them in half and then bringing them over that way. So that's kind of the next step. We'll kind of see how much we make off of this. Then we'll try some chopped in half. Now, granted, unless I get the exact same trees, it's probably not going to be a real good judge of that. But 2,773, I think, is pretty good for 2 trees. That's definitely better than what we had been getting in the past by chopping them up. Well, quite frankly, okay, really? You were already past. Why'd you stop for? By chopping them up into little tiny pieces that we can pick up by hand and bringing them over, right? So this should, in theory, no matter what, provide more money right off the bat. And I feel like it has, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully you're all having a good... Oh, see, this is what I was afraid of. That is what I was afraid of. And now we're in a bad spot here. Now we're in a bad spot. I was very, very, very afraid that this was going to start happening. And now they're just destroying the tree. It's going everywhere now. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Pull, Zator, pull! Alright, this is not going to work. This is simply not going to work. We are causing so much mayhem. I don't think it's going to let me cut this either. Where did the tree go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so this is going about as well as you would expect right now. We'll see if we can figure this out, but this is not going great. To say the least, this is not going well. So I think maybe potentially we should attempt chopping these up a little bit more here. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think we should attempt trying to chop these up a little bit more before we go across the way. That way there will be less chance of this occurring. Now maybe eventually once I have a little more equipment, you know, maybe we can try an approach where we put something across the road to try to block the traffic for a little while until I've, you know, moved everything across, right? We can try that potentially. I think that's a decent situation there. So maybe we should have considered something different than going for the winch for right now. Maybe this wasn't the smartest play, but oh well, we're going to go for it anyway. Alright, let's try this again. Hopefully this is better. I don't know if it will be, but I'm hoping it is. It's not the max length. What are you talking about? Alright, well, you know what? We're just going to take this one. Before something else happens, we're just going to take this one across. Yeah, I think cutting them up might be better, although I think that one is one of the ones that, you know, provides a lot more money for us. But anyway, you get the point. This is what I was attempting to try to do. It may end up being a bit of a disaster, but we'll figure out a way to make it work. We'll figure out a way to make it work. Let's put it that way. Now, today, really my main goal today, honestly, is to get the remainder of these trees up across the way and sold. And then I want to get all these stumps out of this area, and then I would love to attempt to start working on making this into a yard. Now, the vision I had, let me try to get up here in the air and try to give you a vision here. I don't know if this is going to work. This is just the vision I had. So, my goal really is to try to, it's kind of at an incline here. So, if it lets me, I want to take like an area up here somewhere and, you know, basically utilize the level tool and kind of pull that level tool out to about, well, really where we painted to. And then try to do that all the way to the end here. And then over here by this tree, you know, kind of keep it down like this, but have a bit of an incline coming up this way. And then we can turn in, and then there's the yard area. I don't know for sure if this is going to work. That's just the vision I have. So we will see if we can make that come to fruition today or not. If we can't, then, you know, well, so be it, I guess. But that's kind of what our hope is. That's what we're kind of hoping to get out of this episode. The closer we get to the winter months here, the better that this wood price should get. So that's another reason why we should, you know, kind of keep doing what we're doing, I guess. I'm going to chop this guy. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to connect these two guys. Although maybe I should not, now that I think about it. Maybe I should probably connect it down here. Probably be safer than trying to spin it around when we don't have a whole lot of room to work with, and this road and these cars are playing a pivotal role in this, right? Guess the other thing I could do, and you could say, well, why don't you just turn the traffic off? You're right, I could, but I think that's going to make it even easier, and I'm trying to... I really want this to be difficult. I mean, I know we're playing on easy. I get that. Some people might yell about that. I get it. But again, I've mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. We're you know, This is vanilla stuff, right? There is nothing in the vanilla stuff that is cheap. There really isn't. It's all outrageously expensive. If it comes too easy, as I mentioned, we will bump it up to normal. I promise. Oh, yeah. Chopping them in half is the way to go. Oh, yeah, that's almost a gold mine. Maybe we should bump it up to normal if we continue with that amount of money we're making, but let's at least get the rest of this whole area over here cleaned up, and then we can make a decision as we start moving into the bigger section, if you will, right? All right, we're making good money here. We're at $17,480. I love to see that. This is great. And again, this series is not, you know, it's going to be fun, right? It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be fun. If you're looking for a series where I'm trying to kill myself, right, with not being able to make progress at all, I have plenty of those series on the channel, I assure you. Plenty. We're trying to make this difficult and a challenge, and it is a challenge, but also not trying to kill ourselves when it comes to doing all this forestry work we're doing here. And utilizing vanilla stuff where it's just super expensive. There's no possibility for me to get like a $10,000 sawmill or anything like that, right? I can't go buy a $10,000 sawmill. It's not possible. I can't go buy, you know, a very inexpensive tractor that has 300 horsepower, right? If I want a 300 horsepower tractor, I'm spending $100,000+ more than likely, right? All right, so I think we got a good chunk out here. There's still some back there we're going to have to try to get. I'm going to drop this off for a minute. We're going to... Ooh, there's a woodpecker. I'm going to grab the stump grinder again here, and we're going to continue trying to get rid of the rest of these stumps. Now, there is one more tree. You saw it over there. I left it in the last episode, and that was really by design on purpose. I'm not sure if it'll end up staying there the entire time or not, but I have an idea that I want to leave it there on purpose. Just a little bit more of a... what's the word I'm looking for? It just makes it look a little bit neater, a little bit nicer, right? If you have actually something there that's not just completely barren. All right, well, evidently we're chopping that tree down. I don't know how we're chopping that tree down. We're nowhere near it. I'm trying to get the stump. But okay, we just chopped part of that tree, so that sucks. We wasted part of that tree. All right, this one might be a little difficult to get here. All right, I think we got it. Yep, we got it. Good, good, good. And I think, with the exception of maybe a few minor ones over here, I think we got all the stumps gone now. All right, so we're going to back this up over here right now. I'm just going to drop it off right here. It's out of the way. We're going to try to get the rest of these trees over here out of there, if possible. And then that whole section will really be kind of cleared out at that point. Woodpecker's going crazy on a tree somewhere. He's probably not happy I'm taking away all his trees, but sorry, man. We got to make some money. Okay, so there is a little bit of a branch here. Let's see if we can get rid of that. There we go. All right, let's look for traffic here. Let's make sure we're not going across. If there's a bunch of traffic coming, it's going to destroy this. All right, there's traffic coming. We're gonna wait. We're gonna be patient here. We're gonna be patient. Impatience is what almost got us in trouble there at the beginning. Well, almost probably isn't even the right word. It did get us in trouble to an extent. But it could have been way worse, right? It could have been way worse. I've had instances in the past where I get a tree stuck in the middle of a road like that, and cars start hitting it, and it just goes flying. Everything goes to disaster. It's just a complete disaster. Okay, so all of that is done. So let's see if we can make my little plan here work or not. I'm afraid it won't, but let's at least give it a shot. It can't hurt, right? It can't hurt. All right, let's see if we can make this work here, gang. I'm hoping that it does. But I guess you never know, right? I guess you never know. I don't know what really would be the highest. I guess over here is the highest point, I guess. We'll just kind of bring this out like this a little bit, like to about there. I don't want to go too close to the road. I want to get, you know, relatively close, I guess, over here so it gives us a little more land to work with, but I don't want to be too close to the road, if that makes sense. And then if we just kind of drag this out, I know this is probably not the greatest thing to watch with all the bouncing and everything that's going on here, but if we drag this out a little bit here, whoop! That is not the plan. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix that or not, but let's see if we can fix that here in a minute. And then somewhere to about, I mean, pretty much where I've got it for the most part here, right about to there maybe. Doesn't really seem like it's filling anything in here. Maybe it is, it just maybe doesn't look right. I don't know. This part right here is a little concerning. I want that to be filled in. It is filled in. Okay, can I fix this? Can I fix this? I don't know. Probably not. Alright, looks like we fixed it. Looks like we got it. Yeah, it's fixed. That's better. That's normal. Okay, so that kind of accomplished what I wanted to do. I'm kind of tempted to try to bring it out a little bit more here, but I'm afraid we might actually run into a little bit of issues here with the road. So I think I'm going to leave that as it is. Now, this gives me exactly what I was looking for. There's a bit of a road coming into here. I'm going to need to smooth this out a little bit here, or soften this out a little bit here. We're going to want to make this a little bit of a easier entryway here, if you will. All right, that is, I think that's pretty daggone spot on for what I was hoping for here. Hopefully there's enough, you know, room for some kind of a shed up here. There's plenty of room for me to drive up here, plenty of room for me to turn into here. Yeah, if I can get some kind of a shed in here, like a small shed, and I can back it in, you know, kind of like this, I mean, that's about as perfect as I could possibly, you know, expect, right? And we're going to spend a little bit of money here trying to make this look nice too, right? That's other things we're going to be kind of focusing on. It's not specifically, you know, a part of the challenge that it has to be done, but I'm going to try to make, you know, things look relatively nice. But yeah, I'm pretty happy actually with this. I might smooth this or work on this little corner here a little bit more maybe. But overall, I'm ecstatic with this. I think this is exactly what I was looking for and what I was hoping to be able to accomplish. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit here. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this whole area up here. I don't really think there's going to be much. Possibly I could put a house. Well, we already have our house, so never mind. But possibly I could put something else up here. I was just thinking house because that's the normal thing I would think to go and you know, do with an area like this that's just kind of separated like this. But maybe we can think of something. Maybe we can put like a workshop or a spray, you know, a power washing station or something. I don't know. All right, so that's done. So we've got $21,000 still left to play with here. So let's look at the sheds here. Now, again, all the vanilla sheds for the most part, unless you're putting something like this down, but it's huge. They're not cheap. They're not like... All of these are massive, right? So I don't even know if there's going to be anything that we can put up here. And if we can't, then that's fine. We just created an area where we can actually store stuff that just happens to be outside. Now, I think this is from the, this is from the Highlands Fishing. So this would be something that would be nice to put here. It's a little bit too wide there for us, though. Just barely, but it's a little bit too wide. So I don't think that's going to work. This might actually work, though. Although it is a little tight quarters, though. It'd be hard for us to turn around there. So... probably not that either. Things aren't looking too great here. Maybe that? Yeah, I think that might work. Although it's saying overlapping with another object. I don't know what it's overlapping with. I mean, I guess the other choice we could do is we could go this way with it, maybe. And it's still saying, it says land not owned by me somehow. I don't know how or why. But that's what it's saying. This looks like almost our best bet, though, is this one. It does let me put it kind of in the middle, but I think it's gonna freak out. I think I can do this, and it probably will be fine. I think it's just freaking out because it doesn't think there's enough room to put it down. And what I mean by that is, you know, the ground itself. It's kind of an awkward thing, and it would probably try to do some land manipulation here if I put this down, right? So what I might end up doing before I do any of this, and we're just kind of taking a look at everything first and seeing what our options are. But what I might end up doing is do a quick save, so if something does go drastic, we can always reload and, you know, it'll be back to where it was, right? Not that I would want to specifically reload, but if something happens and the whole game freaks out, you know, that might be the choice. So yeah, these are kind of the sheds I was talking about. These all come with Maypole Farm, right? So these are ones that are allowed to be utilized. I mean, that's really all you're getting. You might have a couple of productions as well that are on specifically on the map, but otherwise, there's really not going to be much to choose from. That's too big. Like, all these sheds are way too large, right? They're way too large. I mean, I guess you could go with that, but again, we don't have enough money for that anyway if we were going to go with that. But I guess that's an option. We could go with that. There's not much I don't think we could fit in there, unfortunately. That is way too large. This is too large, right? Too large. All of these are way too big, right? So, it seems to me like that might be our best bet is going with this one. Well, I guess one of these. Either that one or this one. I don't know which. This one looks a little bit shorter, so probably this one gives us a little bit more room to maneuver. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it does work, right? It does do the trick. So before we put it down, let's just be safe. Let's do another save. Let's be safe. I don't want to put it down and the game just like loses its mind and crashes on me. That just would be my luck, right? So let's not do that. All right, so we're gonna put it there. All right, how's it look? How's it look? Ooh. It's fine, but there is not any room for us to turn around. Oh, that might not work. This may not come to fruition as much as I was hoping here, gang. I really thought this was going to work, but it may not. Let me see if I can even have enough room to turn around here. Really, it can just be some smaller stuff we're attaching to the back tractor. As long as we have room to do that, then I think we're okay. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. It's really tight quarters, but I do think it's going to work. But it'll be a struggle. It will be a struggle. Now, the other thing I didn't really think about before I did this, maybe I should have waited a bit, because now we have to go diagonally across the road here. Probably not the smartest thing you've ever done there, Z. Well, this may turn into being not the smartest idea I've ever done. I guess there's only one way to find out, right? I guess we chop down a tree and see what happens. hope for the best. We're going to have to knock down a lot more trees, I think. I think what I'm going to do here is the little tactic that I did before, where I paint the ground here. Fully understanding that the ground is not going to stay like this. I'm wasting money, essentially, by doing this. But it will allow me to see things a little bit better, right? And that's really half the battle. If I can actually see what I'm doing here, this is going to save me time, frustration, all of that, right? We don't have a lot of money to spend here. We've only got 10,000, but we can at least paint a good chunk here off the bat to get us started. All right, that's good enough in my eyes. You can see all of the forest grounds now, and it is actually not as flat over here as I thought. Look at the drop we've got going down here. Ooh. Alright, I got quite a few trees down here. Let's see if I royally screwed myself here, or if I'm going to be able to make this work. I think it's going to work, as long as I continue to chop these in half, which we've kind of decided a while ago on this episode that we were going to be doing that as we move forward anyway, right? So, I think we might be okay. Might be a little bit more difficult for me to get things out of here, but I think we'll still be alright. All right, let's see if we can grab a few of these and get them pulled out and see how it works. Well, that went well. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Like, you're trying to, you know, hook it on, and it just, like, flings a tree forever away. I'm not sure why. Yeah, this is going to work. It's not perfect, but it's going to work. Good thing. Yeah, we're making good money now, gang. We've got the money pouring in for us. This is good. This is really good. All right, we're going to chop this guy down. I might be able to get this one across, but I'm a little concerned. So I'm going to chop it in the middle. Alright, watch out for the cars. Z, there's all kinds of traffic here. 9 a.m. commute traffic causing mayhem. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to be worth a whole lot of money, to be honest with you. They were pretty small. I might have been able to pick it up by hand, actually. But too late now, obviously, but... All right, we're making progress, man. This is good. This is really good. Really, really good. I'm very happy. We're doing better than I expected. After the beginning there, it was a rough beginning. Really rough start. I'm going to try to grab all of those. It might be a bit too much here. And it's looking to be that is the case. Actually, I think it's just that they're getting stuck on that stump there. There we go. All right, now, let's make sure there's no traffic. And nothing at all that way. We're going for it. Up to 22,000 now. Things are going well, man. Things are going really well. I really did not think that this land over here was as severe of a drop-off as it is. This is going to be probably a bit more of a struggle than I was anticipating when it comes to turning this into some kind of an arable field of some sort. I'm not sure what we're going to do. Maybe we even do root crops here. I don't know. I haven't really made that decision yet, but yeah. All right, go ahead, postman, postwoman. And then there goes Walter. Oh, here comes Byron. Hurry, hurry, hurry before he gets here and just causes mayhem. All right, we need to get a couple more down here for sure. And then I want to spend a little bit more money around what we just did there. I want to try to, like I said, make it look a little bit neater, cleaner, if you will. I don't know which one to go after here. I guess we'll take... I don't know, part of me kind of wants to maybe potentially keep these three here. And this can be like our boundary-ish area, and then the actual field itself can start over here. And that way it gives a little bit more of a break between this area and here. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna knock down, I think, 2 or 3 more trees here, and then we'll spend some time, like I said, trying to beautify that area up a little bit more that we just made, that little yard area we just made, right? More than likely, what it'll end up being is whenever we're done with this whole area over here, we've got all the trees down, we've turned it into some kind of a field. At that point, more than likely, we will have a bigger yard or a yard somewhere else, I would suspect, a main yard somewhere else. This is definitely not going to be our main yard, there's just not enough room. But what we can do over here is maybe do something very specific, right? This field maybe initially won't be that, potentially, but once we get a little bit larger, a little bit bigger, we can make this into something that's very specific only for here, and it can just store whatever's required for this field, right? So whether it's, I don't know, grapes, olives, whether it's onions, root crops, whether it's the dreaded potatoes that I haven't done yet, and I probably should do, so maybe we do potatoes, I don't know. There's some options here. Obviously, we are going to have to spend, I think, a little bit of money if we're going to do any of those last few that I mentioned on the land here. Maybe with the arable field, maybe we'll be able to smooth out enough that it won't make that big of a difference. Certainly for the drill, it shouldn't be a big deal, but for the harvester is what I'm more concerned about. But I guess we're just going to have to play that by ear as we move along, right? It's not something we're going to be able to make a decision on right now. We're going to have to just see how things go and make a decision on the fly as things move along, I guess, or maybe make a decision before the actual episode starts, right? If I know what we're aiming for and I know we have enough money to do it or whatever, right? Maybe that's what I try to do. Who knows? We'll figure that out. Okay. So I'm going to try to take each of these. All three of these. So I'll try to make, I'm going to try to make 2 trips is basically what I'm trying to get at. It's going to require a little bit of finesse here to move these closer and closer to each other and get them, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. As long as we don't get stuck on any stumps of any sort, which, you know, they're always going to be a part of the problem here when you're doing this kind of work, but otherwise I think we'll be okay. Alright, that should do the trick. We just got to make sure we keep an eye on our old friends Byron and Walter. Those are the 2 that are causing us issues so far today. And speak of the devil, nope, that's a great car, isn't it? Yep, that's a great car. But yeah, chopping these down is actually better for the money, it seems like, and it's definitely helping us in the perspective of, you know, dealing with these cars, right? It's definitely helping there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. We got this sorted. We're making good money now. We couldn't get any more lucky, though, with the Zetor being out here, right? We really couldn't. I think without this... Well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to get that one separately. I think without this, we'd be struggling a bit. Oh, Byron, don't do it to me. Don't do it, Byron. Don't do it. Okay, good. I think we'd be heavily struggling still, right? We would still be picking everything up. Well, maybe not. Maybe not now, but it would be close. We'd probably be picking everything up still by hand. But having said that, I mean, we're making an okay amount of money when we sell these big, massive trees here, right? So there's a chance we probably would have had a tractor by now. Now, speaking of that, we you know, this tractor is going to need some service here very, very soon. Obviously, it was used, and it was heavily used. Well, most for the game, at least, it was heavily used. Are you serious? Did I literally just get stuck? No way. Okay, good. I was going to say, please don't tell me I just got stuck. Please. I don't want to reset. Please. It's far away. If I reset, we're far away from the shop, I guess is what how I should put it. It's a far drive. I mean, you saw most of the drive actually on the way here. The first episode, right? This actually might be easier going at it at the angle that we're going at now versus what we were doing. It seems to be working a lot easier. Alright, we are at $32,613. I think that's pretty good. So we're going to spend some money again. Like I said, we're going to try to beautify the area up a little bit here, or clean it up a little bit, because right now it just doesn't look that realistic. So we're going to try to make it look a little bit better. We do have a little bit of room there too, so if we want to put something there, we can, which is great. For the time being, we don't really have a whole lot of equipment, so I'm actually going to put these in here, even though there's not something specific that needs to go into a shed. We're going to put them in here anyway. Alright, we'll park that there for right now. So let's try to clean this up a little bit. Let's do a quick auto save here. I knew it was going to do it, so I popped up the menu there. Okay, so really on the side of this, we probably should have some grass going on the edge of here. I think. Maybe some rock. Whoa, see those trees, I'm telling you. They cause mayhem. I probably painted something I did up there. You can see it. I painted something that I didn't really want to paint because of the trees. They get in the way, man. That's alright. We can fix that later. Or here in a little bit, I guess. Maybe later is not the right word. We can fix that here in a little bit. That's probably the better word to use. We're going to paint all of this grass here. This is going to be kind of a bit of a wasted space, and I understand that that's probably not the best use of this area, but I don't know what else to put here right now. Maybe later on we'll think of some other ideas to put here, but right now I think it's just going to be grass. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this, and then I'll come in and fix it later. What I mean by fix it later is I'm talking about inside here, the grass is, yeah, see, it's kind of seeping through a little bit there. All right, so which gravel did we... I don't even remember what gravel we used. It was not that, although maybe I should utilize this to add a little bit more of a realism effect to it, because we were going to be driving in this area a little bit more, right? So the gravel would look a little bit different here anyway, because you're heavily driving on it. Alright, that'll work. I'm relatively happy with that. Okay. I still need to find the gravel we were utilizing, though. It looks like a very soft gravel. I don't remember. I should remember this, but it's forest ground, wasn't it? It was forest ground, which didn't make any sense, but that's what we were utilizing. Alright, let's see if I can try to touch this up a little bit without causing too much mayhem here. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. Alright, so now I don't know if this is going to work. To be honest with you, I've never actually tried this. I don't know if I can paint... Yeah, it's letting me do it. I was going to say, I don't know if I can actually paint grass on the edge here or not. That's kind of what I was wanting to do. I want this to be, you know, look like a little bit more of a realistic... you know, barrier that we put up, right? And then the grass is growing on top of it. Oh, these trees. I was going to say, what the heck just happened there? It was the dang trees. That's what happened. Okay, so that's step one. We just need to fix the little bit of a paint screw up I did here. Actually, there's a little bit of grass here that still needs to be done too, doesn't it? Okay. All right, perfect, perfect. Okay, enough of that. That's good. I'm happy with that. Very, very happy with that, actually. Okay. All right, so there's that. So we want to do a few other just minor things here. This is not really going to make or break it, but I'm going to add a fence kind of right here, I think. And then maybe a fence coming up here if it lets me do it. I'm not sure if it's going to let me or not, but maybe a fence there too. I don't know what kind of fence I want to do. I'm going to be fully transparent with all of you right now. I have no idea. I didn't test this out. I didn't actually, you know, even make any ideas or anything. Ooh, I kind of like that, actually. I kind of like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. We're going to go with that. I kind of like that. I think that looks really good. That looks really nice. Really nice. All right, will it let me do it here? Land not owned by me. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, it's letting me do it here. So, do I own all this back here? Because it's letting me do it all the way back to here. I can't imagine I own all... If you look at the map, let's look at the map here. I guess I do. I guess I do own all that back there. Interesting. So there's actually some more stuff we can chop down back here. I don't know what I would do with this area back here. There's really not any room for us to do anything except for maybe, you know, pile up some trailers or something maybe back here. I don't know what else I would do with it. So we're just going to kind of go to here-ish. Collides with another item. I wonder if it's this bush. It has to be that bush. Right? It's got to be. It doesn't say anything about collides until I get to here for some reason. What's it colliding with right there? Oh, is there there is a stump there. Those pesky stumps, man. That's what it is. There's a stump there. I didn't even see that guy. I thought we got all the stumps, but we missed that guy. So it does let us put the fence right through the bush, which is kind of nice. Get it? I think so. These trees causing mayhem. I can't even see if it's straight or not. I hope that's straight. I can't even tell. Is it inside the tree? I think it might even be inside the tree. It is kind of partially inside the tree. That's okay. It doesn't look that bad. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. That helps kind of just bring the whole area together here a little bit, right? I'm going to try something else here. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. We're going to try to add a fence this way. I just think having a fence going like this is would be pretty cool too. Just kind of running around the edge here. Yeah, like that. I love that. That's fantastic. Is it perfectly straight with that? No. That's going to drive me crazy, actually. Can I... Wasting money. I know, gang. We're wasting money. Somebody's going to yell at me. You're wasting all kinds of money. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a series I want to run for at least 30 episodes. I mentioned that, right? It's going to be a while. What are we colliding with right now? What? Okay, let's try this again. Alright, we'll make it a little bit longer than I did last time. Maybe I had it too close, I guess. Nope, it still says collides with another item. Now it doesn't. Okay, whatever. I don't know. What do I know? It's working now, so I guess I can't really complain, right? Perfect. All right, that looks good. That looks good. I love this up here. I love this. It actually helps, you know, like solidify that this is an area you can store something in. I love that. I like the grass on the side here. It's going to look a little weird, but once it gets longer, it probably will be okay. This is a bit weird, but it works, so we'll take it. This helps kind of solidify the whole area. Very happy about that. Very, very happy. Let's get rid of these stumps. Why was the tree just spinning? And why was that cutting any portion of the tree? I was nowhere near the tree. Doesn't make any sense. They must have made an update to this, because when I was utilizing it earlier in FS25, it would not even work half as well as it's working right now. It's working better than it ever has. And it's hitting stuff that I don't even want it to hit. Alright. Well, that's it, gang. We're going to leave the episode at that point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate it if you smash the like and subscribe button. In the case you have yet to do so, both of those things are free to do, and they help me out an absolute ton. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank you guys enough. You guys are the absolute best. Check the Discord out. I just released well, quite frankly, I guess it would have been mostly past at this point, but I'm going to start trying to, once again, release a bit of a schedule every week to kind of give you an update on what's going on and where we are and what, what's coming up next in the coming days, I guess is how I should put it. But yeah, we'll leave it at that point, gang. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your support. It means the world. We'll see you next time.